one thing God has shown me in the last couple of years, is vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Meaning, I used to be a real physical, hands-on, violent, not afraid to smack somebody at their job or drag them across the counter or just yank them out of their house, you know what I mean, and just beat them if they had something coming to them that I felt like I needed to fix or whatever. The past couple years, I've had God show me that be still and know that I'm God. I am God. You know what I mean? He's saying, listen, vengeance is mine. I made this. I'm in charge of all of this. I see what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm not, no one's escaping any kind of punishment, including myself. But if you've grown at all as a responsible, sober adult, you know that violence and getting emotional about a situation is one way that it's a weakness, and you lost control. When you resort to violence and you're not defending yourself, unless somebody raped my sister or my mom or somebody that I knew, there's situations I don't really want to go into because I have prior, and I'm just touching on this. The more I've seen anybody that has wronged me, I've seen God, dole out like judgment on them. You know what I mean? Like from somebody firing me for a job for like a bullshit reason. I've watched them being an executive making $120,000 a year and yada yada yada. Boom, just get fired. It could be a year later, it could be 6 months, whatever. It's on God's time. But God doesn't want you to sit there and be like, waiting for this, mother effer to get punished. You know what I mean? Or waiting for... I just know anything that I do, I've got to hold myself to the same standard. I've got to actually make sure that I'm not doing stuff to people that they could want to, whatever, you know what I mean, pay me back for. But, it's one of these things that it's not always easy, because I have allowed people, they probably think, I'm a big pussy and that I'm a pushover. Oh, he's just a big, he just looks tough or whatever. And I don't really care, to be honest with you, coming from who these people are. You know what I mean? I know who I am as a man and as a leader. I'm not the people that question this or whatever. They have a very limited mental capacity and they're so wrapped up in bullshit and just not going anywhere with their life set. They don't have very limited critical thinking skills, you know what I mean, if any at all. And we're on two different journeys. And that's unfortunate for them because, they don't want to be well. But, I just tell people, it's hard to listen to your own advice, but what advice would I give myself when someone has done something and I feel like I need to give them a fucking smack? I just go, one, I'm going to have to spend a night or two away from my animals, or who knows what kind of charges it's going to be. Usually when I hit somebody, it's, I got to have a lawyer. I can't use a public defender. It probably is going to be a felony because I might break something on their face. I might not, I might lose control and, one or two extra punches from somebody that weighs 240 pounds, on somebody that is just a little dork is like them getting hit with a sledgehammer, you know what I mean? So I don't want to, and I'm not a violent person, but I am capable of violence that I don't think people realize exists in me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think people realize I just don't even, or they wouldn't even fuck around. You know what I mean? And find out, Like, the only thing that's saving these people from literally, you know, like me changing the way they look and how they feel every day for the rest of their life is God and these cats. Because when I was using drugs, it was not gonna. I'm just telling you, and I don't feel good about it because it's a weak. Getting angry and losing your temper is one of the biggest weak. It's a weak signal. You know, it's a weak sign of your personality that you get so emotionally involved that you have to punch people and get crazy and, you know, whatever. But the world sometimes, listen, sometimes you have to, as a man, sometimes there are times where as a man, you might have to slap somebody. You know what I mean? Like, there are times as a man where I've had to check somebody and tell them, like, you know, hey, I'm not trying to be tough with you, but X, Y, Z, if this shit ain't gonna be going on like this, and I have no problem doing that. You know, you have to, you know, I'm a big dude. I know what I know what I'm capable of. I know I'm more than capable of handling myself, and I know that I'm probably going to decimate the competition. Once in a while, God will use my size just to tell somebody something, and they'll get the message. Like I told the dude that I'm taking your dog. I said, I know you think I'm a big pussy, and I know that you think that I'm just saying this to say this. That's where you're wrong. I'm telling you because I'm giving you the opportunity to change your ways. If I don't see you being nicer to this puppy here, who I've now owned for over 3 years, I'm just taking him from you. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. You can pull a gun on me, you can try to stab me, you can do whatever. I'll never give you the dog back. The only way you'll get the dog back is legally. And legally, you're not allowed to own a dog, you know? And the motherfucker was just so surprised that somebody tried him like that, you know, even the landlord was surprised. And I said, we all failed this animal. So, as a man, it is our duty to serve and protect our loved ones and people that aren't able to protect themselves. So I've never been a bully. I got beat up most of the time until like ninth grade because I was afraid. I know I could take a punch and I was afraid of the consequences. I have never punched somebody in the face that didn't start a fucking altercation or hit me first. I've never just been, you know, like fired off on somebody that I've never sucker punched anybody. I've never done anything like that. But I was talking to a Marine today that's down the street from me, and he said, man, I didn't think you were around. I haven't seen you. And I go, bro, I ain't never leaving these motherfucking cats. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I tried to tell somebody that was in my life. Like, yo, I'm not... You think you're gonna make me? One, I'm not gonna choose you over the cats. I'm always gonna choose my cats over any person. You know, God put these cats in my life. I mean, I have 3, 6, 9, 12, you know, over 2,000 days of feeding these cats. I'll never forsake them and fucking just stop feeding all my cats. You know what I mean? And I would never let a relationship, if I have to choose God over a significant other, I'm going to choose God all day long. You know what I mean? And you should never have to. But, you know, shit is what it is. Let's get into Walmart, get some cat food, get out of here.